Good afternoon, guys. I hope you can just humor me for a minute or so. I just want to say some very nasty people out there, you know, no integrity, don't know right from wrong, no compassion. It just sickens me, it really does. I mean, I've just had another, and bearing in mind, you know, people that send you really bad messages, they're not subscribed. So to any new bloggers, just block them. You're not losing anything at the end of the day. You know, last one I got just recently, I hope you've packed your bags. I've reported you to immigration. It's like, you know, when I stop laughing myself that much, I weed myself. It's just pathetic. It really is. But anyway, why I left the UK to come to the Philippines. In actual fact, I didn't leave the UK to come to the Philippines straight away. I actually went to Cambodia. Now, just to give you a little bit of background why I left the UK. I was on my second marriage. My first marriage was 19 years, had 4 kids. Second marriage, we'll not go into that. It wasn't nasty or anything like that. We're still friends, even though she was not doing nice things while we were married. Anyway, I was in a good job. I worked my way up to a truck driving assessor, and it was cushy. I mean, there was no stress, unlike before when I was driving the trucks, which initially there wasn't, but when I hit my 40s, it wasn't fun anymore. It was really stressful. You know, just a bit of background, I've worked since I was about 15 with a paper route. I've never relied on the government for any handouts, ever. I've always had savings. Very rarely been sick, very rare. And even sick, I forced myself to go to work. I'm feeling a little bit burnt out, guys. I'm feeling very stressed, and I couldn't really work out why I was feeling like that, because there wasn't really anything to be stressing about. My job, I didn't think so at the time. It wasn't really stressing me. It was easy. You know, I just sat next to guys in a truck. Other companies used to hire my company to test the drivers before they employed them, and I just sat there with a clipboard and told them where I wanted them to go, or back up here, or drive in there, or turn left here, and just tick the clipboard. It was really easy. Anyway, this particular day, I think he was only the second person I ever failed. I said, sorry, but you haven't reached the standards required for the company you're applying to. I'm sorry, but I can't pass you. And he's a big guy. He was covered in tattoos. He was massive. And he smacked me in the face. He said, I knew you were gonna effing do that. Anyway, I had quite a bit of time off work, full pay, compensation, and I had a lot of time to think. And then my sister got breast cancer. My mum said she's got cancer and she'd had it for quite a while, but she didn't want to worry us. And being as I was my mummy's boy, I was a mummy's boy, it hit me harder than I think most, although I can't speak for them, obviously. Then my wife at the time decided we weren't for each other. I thought everything was all right, but there you go. I'm a man, and things weren't going very well at all. Then my mum passed away. And when my mum passed away, that's when the feelings I was feeling got really intense. And I didn't think I could work there anymore, but the problem was I had 3 houses that were all on mortgage. The bank owned them. As you can see, guys, I left all this just to come to the Philippines. And I think you'll agree and find out that as you get older, material things, if you haven't got someone to love, or kids, or just, you know, close family to keep you in the country and to keep you working your rear end off, all this stuff doesn't mean anything. And that's what happened to me. None of these material things meant anything. I had a Mercedes, I had a Suzuki 650 motorbike, I had a Suzuki Swift. Yeah, you can't drive 2 cars at the same time, but as you can see, the Suzuki Swift was brand new, my Mercedes was about 2 years old. I had it all, but I was eating baked beans to save my money every month to pay one of the mortgages off. And the one I eventually paid off was for my house that I rent out now, which is the money I live on. And I was doing pretty well, but I don't know, it's probably because of how my mind was at the time. I packed my job in, and it was all right at the time because I had a crap load of savings. And the reason I had a crap load of savings was because my intentions were to pay one of the mortgages off on the smaller house, the one I'm actually renting out at this point in time. But then after a few months I started to panic because I applied for a few more jobs similar to the one I had, and even though I had years of experience driving trucks, you know, doing the assessing job, they were giving the jobs to younger guys, you know. I mean, I used to drive the skip. When the guy who drove the skips was off, my employer wanted me to drive the skip because I was the only one he trusted. I wasn't going to wreck it. And I got up one morning and I put my computer on as usual. My computer's my right arm, by the way, still is. And I saw this, I don't know why I clicked on it, but this guy in Thailand, and he says, come to Thailand for $600 a month. And I thought, get out, 600 a month. So of course the brain's going and I'm working stuff out. And I thought, hey, what's up? I can just about manage that. So it took me 10 months, right, to make a decision. My money was about gone. I'd already put their houses up for sale, apart from the one I was going to keep for rent. And they sold pretty damn quick. It was amazing. I made 10,000 on the big one. Long story short, I put all my money into the rental to bring the mortgage down. Everything seemed to fall into place, and I decided I'm going to go to Cambodia. The cost of living there is really cheap. The visa situation compared to other countries, you know, your Philippines and Vietnams and stuff like that, the visa situation's not good. Philippines, when I say it's not good, I mean it's not ideal. I mean it's better than Vietnam and especially Thailand, but it's still a pain if you're on tourist visa. And I think over time, guys, it's gonna, and again, this is just my opinion, I think they're gonna start tightening things up. So I started selling everything. I had a Mercedes, of course my Suzuki Swift car, not that I could drive two cars at the same time, of course, and then my pride and joy, my 650 Suzuki motorcycle. I'm selling all my electrical tools that took me years to build up. Basically, I sold the shed for a one-off price. My flight was getting nearer and nearer to go to Cambodia. And I was so excited. And even though my brain wasn't, my brain cells weren't firing right. And again, look guys, I know you're all sat back there thinking, because he's a bloody idiot. But at the end of the day, I've been in the Philippines 10 years. I decided Cambodia within the first 3 weeks wasn't for me because the English there is terrible. You know, now you can buy a translator about the size of a phone. And as you're speaking, it translates. And then you can point it at a text, any text, and it translates it into English. So at least, you know, if you plan before you go, you might be able to make it work. Now, talking of that, there's a video coming up where I start talking about retirement. Again, it's not as good as I expected it to be because people kept, hey Joe, what's your name, and put me off and stuff. I apologize for that. But look, I do want retirees to come here who are struggling, because if you're on $1,200 a month dollars, you can live here okay. As a single guy, right? You can live here okay, and as long as you have some savings backup. Anyway, getting back to mine, I decided Cambodia wasn't for me, so I was in Siem Reap, by the way. So I jumped on a plane and I come to Manila. I just wanted to jump on a plane and go home. It was worse than Cambodia. I do not like Manila. I'm sorry to people in the Philippines, but we all have our likes and dislikes. So anyway, I went to a subdivision in Bulacan. I'd been talking to a blogger, an American blogger, and he's Filipina. And long story short, guys, I've just been ripped off left, right and centre. I was paying bills. They're coming 2 weeks, you know, down the line and want me to pay the electric bill again, the water and different stuff. Every time I opened the door, they wanted to borrow money. And then we had other people. I was going into my pockets. The cleaner I had, her husband worked abroad. She had two beautiful daughters, and there was like a festival, and she asked me if I'd buy them an outfit for the festival, which I did. And I had £6,000 savings. And long story short, I'm not saying I give it all away, because every time I took money out to give to somebody, I took a bit more out for me. And when I come to Naga, I left there, I met this guy called Edward, Filipino, and he was brilliant. And he says, Chris, if you knew what I knew, I'd leave here now. He says, but there's a place called Naga, and my auntie has 2 houses next to each other, and she'll let you rent it for $2,500 a month. I said, get out, really? Anyway, long story short, I come to Naga, and I was doing videos with Edward for a while. As if you go back in my videos, you'll see Edward. But you know, life moves on. Edward needed to move on. He wanted to run his own business as photography, which I said was a bad idea, and it turned out it was. And then he started training as a teacher, which he still is, and that was the best move he made. Anyway, around that point where we were about to part ways, I met Mel. And the rest, as I say, is history. Now look, what we're living on and especially since the pandemic, is really, really low. And the only reason I can do that, which I'll discuss in the next video, you know, with money, I don't want to do it because of these trolls. Oh, you're a beggar, it just sickens me. You know, nobody, if you give a blogger money, nobody's put your arm up your back. You know, you do it because you want to do it. And bless all my membership and patrons, by the way. Thank you so much. If it hadn't have been for them when I was ill and making no videos, I lost a lot of support. But the ones that have stayed, I'd love to see them all in person and shake the hands, and you know, they were lifesavers. So I realized when I come to the Philippines that I was suffering from depression. That's what all this was, with the death of my mother, everything that happened, you know. When I went to the doctors, he said, you know, I think you got depression. I said, no, I ain't got depression. I can remember asking my mum before she passed away, Mum, what's happy? And she started crying because she obviously knew the life I had with my dad and stepdads and, you know, being beaten from pillar to post. I never knew what happy was, you know. I was never into football and that kind of stuff. You know, I couldn't understand what excited all these people over a leather ball being kicked about a field. But anyway, she couldn't answer me. But looking back, the only time I was happy in my life is when I came to the Philippines. Yeah, it's not been so good through the pandemic and me being ill, then the damn flood. But if you take that out of it, I've never been so happy in all my life. I honestly have. And if you've got at least $1,200 a month and you're a single guy and you're not coming here for the obvious, you'll be happy as well. If you spend enough time here and you work out this is the place for you. Don't come here like I did. It was stupid, guys. You know, before I left, I'm just thinking to myself,
I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it.
and I didn't know what I was doing. You know, what I did was stupid. Selling up. My sister says, what's going to happen? You've just given a contract to your house for 3 years. If you've got to come back, where are you going to live? I don't know. But, you know, I'll sort something out. So, that's me. But everything's good now. My head's working again. I can cope with anything that hits me now. I just saw the writing on the wall. I'd had enough of the UK. It was going down the tubes before I left. Look at it now.
The great British dream is crashing, and with that, so are house prices. Add higher taxes to the heap of troubles, and you'll find there's plenty of bitterness in the air. It's pushing more couples to call it quits. You think I'm exaggerating? Did you know the first working Monday in January is dubbed as Divorce Day?
Oh my God. I do not know whether to laugh or cry. So, it's cost me £700 for 2 weeks. I'm sweating and that stress how much it's cost me.
I just went to buy a few things for my child. All of those biscuits, toothpaste, tiny things that doesn't even make sense. And in my head, I'm thinking, okay, like 40 to 50 pounds. Tell me why I'm spending £100 on this, guys.
Is anyone else noticing how expensive the UK is getting to just get by? It's just absolutely ridiculous. This country is too expensive. Too expensive.
This cost me £8.25 with a Nectar card.
You'll definitely relate to it. That's £185 since Friday in Aldi, and I don't think this food will last. The shopping bill just increases.
There's nothing in this country. Food is expensive, transport is expensive, everything, living is expensive, like everything, housing is expensive.
And then you have to pay for council tax, which was extortionate. I paid it was £211 each month.
Okay, I'm gonna move out the way. Guess how much all this was, yeah? Guess how much? 4 items. Pads and a meal deal. Pads and a meal deal. Let's just guess that.
So people always say London is expensive, but I don't think I clocked how expensive they meant when they said expensive. It was £645.
How is Britain, London, allowed to be doing these prices?
Let me just say, sometimes on a video I'll start, last Christmas I gave you my heart and the last Christmas, seriously, I was at a party and I'd had a bit too much to drink. This is before I stopped drinking, before the end of the December, and I tripped and I smashed my head on a bar. I actually cracked my skull. I've not told anybody this, and the after effects of that was memory loss. My short-term memory's terrible, really is. You know, going into the kitchen, forgetting what you've gone in for. Yeah, I know, we all do that. I've done it since I was a kid, but it's a little bit worse now. So what I'm trying to say is, you know, just forgive me a bit on the videos, guys. So I've been in the Philippines about 10 years now, and I've been living on a very small rent, still am. It was just the YouTube, when it was doing well, that was keeping my channel afloat. So I've managed to do it, guys, but a lot of the time I think God's been on my side. My mum's been looking down at me, and God bless, of course, the people who've supported the channel, because without you, one, there ain't no channel, there's no Brit in the Philippines. We got some news other day where the landlord wants us off his land. Everybody's had notice, so I know they can't just chuck you off like that, but God knows how long we're going to have left when I'm going to have to pay a real rent. Thanks to everybody that's subscribed. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe, support the channel, help me grow again. And just for you trolls out there, if you can afford to support the channel, it'll be greatly appreciated. All the links are below all my videos. If you can't, that's great too. Just subscribe, give me the thumbs up, leave a comment, and do what a lot of people are not doing. They're not watching the video. My average time with a lot of my videos is about 4 minutes, and the videos are about 10-12 minutes. So until the next one, guys, bye bye.